Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energy and the numerology for the forecast for October 2021. Before we get into the reading, I just want to mention that this is a general reading. If you are interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. All right, so first we're going to take a look at the overall numerology and energy for the collective, which we are all a part of. Then we'll sort of take a deeper dive and take a look at the forecast for your life path number specifically. Okay, so welcome fall or spring, depending on what hemisphere you find yourself in. October ushers in the slower, softer energies of the six. Recently, we were under the influence of the 5 energy in September, which is much faster moving energy with plenty of twists and turns, as well as sort of profound transformations. It can feel very frenetic. It can feel like a lot of moving parts and a lot of things changing, and it's a big energy. And so stepping into the 6 universal energy throughout October allows for much more nurturing, much more soothing sort of experiences. With this 6 energy, family, home life, relationships, all kind of come into center stage to be looked at, to be experienced, to be worked with. So again, it's just a softer, slower energy, but there can still be a lot of transformations that come from it. So you may find at this time throughout October that new relationships form, okay? You may meet someone, you might find the courage to ask someone you feel a connection towards, you might ask them out. This is a beautiful energy for meeting a new partner. So put yourself out there. I'm a true believer that those souls that we have contracts with in this lifetime, romantic or otherwise, they will cross our path at the precise time that they're meant to. And we're not meant to force that, right? That's just my personal belief. I think that that's going to happen one way or another. That's definitely divine intervention and divine timing. But that doesn't mean that, we can't get out there and enjoy life and mingle and just have fun. So be open to who you meet under this 6 energy, because they may play a bigger, more significant role within your life than you could ever imagine. So this is a great energy for networking and making new friends or acquaintances, feeling that you're part of a greater community, even if it's a membership or an organization online. If it allows you to meet people that you might not have met otherwise because of location or logistics, then go for it. It's a great opportunity, and this is great energy to sort of take the reins in that, to take that, make that move. 6 energy is a big energy when it comes to domestic and community responsibilities. So you may find that loved ones, need more of your service at this time, or more of your energy and your time now. You may find that, you feel called to become more heavily involved with your local or greater community through maybe volunteering or philanthropy or some other means. So you just may feel that other people sort of need you more at this time, or require your services or your time, your energy, your resources, whatnot. And that can be friends, family, romantic partners, children, whoever, relationships, and, community in a greater sense. Okay. So just keep that in mind. As you move through October, healthy boundaries are going to be very, very important. I talk about healthy boundaries a lot when we talk about 6 energy as well as 9 energy, but especially 6 energy, just because 6 energy is so nurturing, such a giving energy, that a lot of times we can sort of get into a space where we're over giving, where we're over nurturing, right? Where we either become a burden to somebody else, or somebody else becomes a burden to us. And so, but that's because we haven't set those healthy boundaries. So keep in mind as you move through October that healthy boundaries are going to be important, they're going to be crucial at this time. It's a beautiful thing to say yes to assisting another person, right? But when we overcommit or we fill our plate too full, then it can begin to feel like a burden, which can lead to resentment and lower vibrational feelings. So when this happens, we begin to lose sight of the motivation behind our initial actions. Something that stemmed from something beautiful like compassion, understanding, and kindness then turns to martyrdom and victimization. And so just continue as the month progresses to check in with yourself. Why are you saying yes to whatever this is? What is the motivation? Do you feel emotionally and or physically prepared to handle this commitment? If the answer is no, then saying yes will only lead to resentment or feeling taken advantage of. People may need you at this time, but it's okay to say no if you're not in a space or capable of stepping into that role at this time. So fill your own cup first before attempting to fill another's, as the saying goes. And there's no shame in recognizing that your own cup needs filling, right? A lot of times we want to pretend or feel like we can do it all and we can be everything to everybody, but that's not the case. And when we do that, we're actually hurting ourselves, and then we're hurting the other person through that experience. So really, it actually benefits us to be able to recognize when we are depleting ourselves and we need to fill our own cup up first. So if you're noticing that you're running on empty, or even that you're, getting close to that, take the time, set those healthy boundaries, check in with yourself, and see what are you capable of giving at this point in time and what are you not capable of. And there's no shame in either. You can't give to another what you don't have to give, no matter how much you want to or how much they want you to. So know and honor your own needs first. Also, honor the boundaries of another. If they ask for help, great. But if they decline your assistance, right? Like if you go to someone trying to help or, intervene or whatever the case may be, and they ask you to please not interfere, or, that they don't need your assistance or whatever the case may be, then honor that, right? Honor that healthy boundary that they are setting for themselves, without the need for an explanation, because it's not personal. So don't make it personal, okay? Just like you would want that person or other people to respect your healthy boundaries, you need to be sure that you're doing that for them as well. This can also be a time when relationships from the past resurface. So they can sort of come up to be healed at this time, whether that's energetically or the actual physical person re-enters your life for some reason. Pay attention to what surfaces for you this month around past hurts or conflicts or past experiences with another person. What are you still carrying with you that, can now be released to lighten the load? Is there something or someone that keeps coming up? And, where is forgiveness needed? And why is that person coming up? Why is that memory coming up, that experience coming up, right? And like, what is it bringing up for you? If it's coming into your awareness, it's coming into your awareness for a reason. And so instead of kind of, continuing to push it under the carpet, let it come up, let it bubble to the surface, explore it, see what it's trying to show you. Because again, is there something or someone that is coming up for forgiveness, right? Is there forgiveness needed? Is there something that you need to take a closer look at to heal so that you can release whatever this is and not carry it with you? This is a beautiful energy for really exploring what it is that you continue to carry with you that has well gone past the expiration date. Carry the wisdom of the experience with you and what you have learned from that experience, but not the actual burden of the experience. That makes sense, okay? This is going to be a time where, again, if these past experiences show up and they trigger some kind of emotional response within you and they're not going away, they're staying within your awareness, there's something there that needs to be healed, that needs to be recognized, that needs to be worked through. And so honor that and see what you can come up with. And also, pay attention to the wisdom that you extract from that, because that is what you're meant to carry with you forward. That is what you're going to use in these next chapters that you embark on, right? So this sixth energy can also bring to the surface those things within the current relationships that need maybe to be highlighted or need to be worked through or recognized or brought into awareness. So is there something that you and a partner, a friend, a colleague, or whomever keep sweeping under the rug and you're not discussing it because it's just easier to avoid it than to have an open and honest conversation about whatever this is? If that's the case, then you may find this month that elephant enters the room, sits down, and doesn't budge until you take the responsibility for working through whatever this is. No matter how challenging, no matter what the outcome may be, it's coming into your awareness for a reason, and it needs to be recognized and worked through so that you can move on from it, so that it's no longer taking up space within your energy, within your emotions, within your mind. You can work through it. Again, no matter what the outcome is, no matter what the resolution is. But sweeping it under the carpet is not resolution. That's not going to help you to move forward. Okay, so that sums up the energy for the collective for October. So let's take a look at your personal life path number now. Life path number 7s, beautiful 7s. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got flying squirrel, which I absolutely love. What's coming in for flying squirrel is this energy around understanding that you are fully capable of overcoming any obstacle that gets in your way. It may feel like things are coming at you a million miles an hour, challenges, obstacles, whatever, being thrown at you, you're hitting brick walls here and there. Just know that if a challenge comes in for you, it's coming in for a reason. And there's something to learn from that. There's some wisdom to be extracted from that. And if it's not meant to redirect you, which it will do if it's meant to, right? It will be impossible to overcome whatever that is, but it will redirect you. And so in a way, it's overcoming that challenge, right? But just know that whatever is placed before you in your path, you have everything that you need to be able to overcome that or change direction, to choose to change direction, to choose to alleviate the issue in whatever way you can. But you have everything that you need. And I think that that's the biggest message that Flying Squirrel wants to get across is you don't have to claim defeat, right? Like you don't have to feel that any obstacle that's placed before you is insurmountable, because if you can't move over the obstacle, you can move around it and you can change direction. You can go down a different path. And so I think it's just remembering that you have a choice, remembering that if there's something being placed before you that feels insurmountable, that feels like you can't come up with a solution, then perhaps there's not a solution to be, decided upon. Perhaps it's at that point you're meant to change direction and you get to choose the direction. So again, it's just this energy of recognizing that you always have a choice. You always have, you are in partnership with Source, with the divine. You're a part of the divine. So you get to have a say in the direction you want to move into. And the obstacles are always trying to show you something, right? So it may be that you're working on something, on a project or a relationship or something like that, and you keep getting obstacles, you keep getting challenges. And if it's just a matter of just blindly moving over the obstacle, trying to, move beyond it, but then you get hit with the same obstacle and you keep getting hit with the same obstacle or the same challenge, you just need to ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Because oftentimes there's some red flags there that need to be taken into consideration and that may help to highlight for you, oh, I need to change direction here. I need to move in a different direction, or whatever the case may be, right? Or this is a fear that's coming up and I need to dismantle this fear. I need to face it. I need to, work through it, whatever the case may be. But ultimately the point is you have everything you need to be able to overcome or change directions from whatever obstacle comes up for you. And so just remember that about yourself as you move through October, especially. Not to say there's going to be a ton of obstacles coming up for you, but I feel like there's going to be some decisions to be made. There's going to be some things that come up. Maybe you need to do some soul searching. There may be some fears that show up for you that, again, need your attention, need to be worked through, need to be dismantled. But just know that you can do it. You're not going to get handed anything that you can't work through or pull wisdom from, right? And understand. So the other thing with flying squirrel that I'm getting is about perspective. And so again, it may be that there's a situation that keeps showing up that you keep sort of attacking it in the same way, or you keep seeing it in the same way. You know what I'm saying? And so there's definitely this energy around needing a change of perspective, needing a different vantage point. So you think about like a flying squirrel, they're up in the treetops and they're jumping from tree to tree, and they're, taking those risks because they instinctively know that they'll make it to the other tree, even if they don't, right? Like they're following their instincts. They're following that inner compass. They're doing what they need to do, but they're seeing the world from a different vantage point than if they were on the ground, right? And so they're seeing the bigger picture. And I feel like for you all, there's going to be some opportunities to take some risks, to do things you haven't done before. And before you say no to that because of fear or whatever, or the obstacle feels too challenging, try to pull yourself from the situation for a minute, try to become the observer and take a look at the bigger picture, and then make your decision from that. Try to take the emotions out of it if you can, right? Like, we're emotional beings, we're meant to feel the emotions, of course, but don't necessarily let those emotions dictate the journey, right? Like, experience the emotions, etc., but don't let those emotions necessarily dictate for you your truth and your journey. And try to pull yourself out of it for a moment, to take a look at it, at the bigger picture, to see, why whatever this is surfacing and how all the pieces move together. You see what I'm saying? So definitely getting this energy around a different vantage point is needed, a different perspective, and to understand that you have everything you need to be able to overcome whatever it is. Again, even if that means changing direction, and that's not considered a failure. Changing direction, that's following your truth and knowing what's meant for you and what's not meant for you, because you're following that inner divine guidance. Okay, so I broke the month down into 4 weeks, and really beautiful energy coming in for you all. There's definitely some energy of potential self-sabotage coming in at the end of the month, but again, you're very capable of overcoming that and not sort of succumbing to that, right? So the beginning of the month, very first week, we have something coming to a closure, but it's something that it almost feels like it's a relief, if that's the best way to put it. It's kind of like something coming to closure that you kind of known has needed to end, or it's something where it's like you've been involved in something that has felt like an injustice, and now justice is sort of being served, if that makes sense. And so it's just bringing you some level of fulfillment and contentment and peace. It's bringing you peace. Let's put it that way. So this is like something coming to a close, but it's something that is bringing you peace. So again, it's like releasing a burden that you are not meant to carry with you any longer, right? So you're pulling the wisdom out of the experience, but you're not carrying the burden of the experience with you any longer. So something happens around this first week that either highlights for you that this sort of closure is coming, something is coming to completion, but that there's a sense of relief around it. So that could be too, like if there's like a relationship, if you are going through a divorce or something like that, it's like you may, that might be finalized at this time. And instead of there being like animosity and anger and bitterness, there's like this sense of peace and just completion around it, right? It's being laid to rest, and it doesn't have to be done through like, anger or hatred or whatever the case may be. And so first week of the month, just this energy of closure. and finding peace within that closure, whatever that is. Second week, we're definitely getting this energy, which is very 7 energy, of that sort of this need for solitude. This would be a great time for you to take a little trip away on your own, immerse yourself in nature, immerse yourself in something that you enjoy doing. Yes, we're in this 6 universal cycle, which is going to be, there's going to be people that are going to be pulling you in a million different directions, needing your attention, needing your time, needing your resources, whatever the case may be. But there's really this strong pull for you 7s to take a time out around this second week to, if you can't do it for the whole week, obviously that's understandable. We have to live life. But if you can even take a day to yourself for some solitude, for some self-reflection, for some rest and rejuvenation, to fill your cup back up if it's been depleted. And even if it hasn't been depleted, don't let it get to that point, right? But there's just this energy around, you need some time alone. You need some time in solitude. You need some time in nature, or, putting your feet, if you live in the city, find a patch of grass and put your feet on it, your bare feet on it. Just connect to the earth in some way. But alone, not with the energy of others around you. I think that's going to be really important for you at this time. Read a good book, do whatever you can do, but find your solitude this week at some point. I think you're going to find in doing that a lot of inspiration comes in for you, a lot of sort of feeling reconnected to yourself, to source, whatever comes in for you. And I think that you're going to get some answers coming in that maybe you've had questions to or have been struggling with for quite some time. And so I feel like the solitude for you is going to be your respite. It's going to be your sanctuary of just embracing yourself and nurturing yourself. This 6 energy of the universal cycle for October is beautiful energy for nurturing. And it's not just about nurturing others. It's about nurturing self first to get us to that point where we can nurture others. And I feel like this second week is going to be really important for you to be able to do that and not feel guilt or shame for doing it. Even if you get some pushback from family, friends, a loved one, because they want your time, your space, your resources, whatever, just stand in that and know that, honor the need for solitude at this time, if that comes in for you. The third week, this is interesting because I'm definitely seeing this call or need for patience. So if there's something that you've been working on, and this feels very in the material realm, this feels like very like financial or, like seeing the fruits of your labor, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're like writing a book and you've sent it to see if it'll get published or it's getting published or whatever the case may be. There's something that you've been working really hard on or have been investing a lot of your time into. It could be like you opened your own business and it's taking longer than you had anticipated to see the fruits of your labor type thing. I feel like there's this energy coming in for you that's basically saying this is going to happen, like it's going to come to fruition. But there's this level of patience that's needed at this point in time. It's kind of like you've planted the seed, you've nurtured it, you've watered it, you've, been very attentive, you've done your part, you've put in the effort. But there's something that has to organically happen with this. There's something that has to happen naturally that is unseen, that you don't have control over. And it's sort of like whatever this is in that process. And so let it go through its process. Let it happen organically and have the patience to know that you've done your part. You've done the part that you need to do in the manifestation process. And so now it's just surrendering to the divine to do its part in making this come to fruition, right? It's a partnership. It's a partnership with Source to create and to manifest what it is that we want to see. And I feel like you've been putting a lot of energy and effort into whatever this is, and it's something that you have had the vision for and then taken the effort to create. This is your creation. But I feel like at this point in time, it's sort of in this growing phase that things are happening behind the scenes that you can't necessarily see just yet, and they can't be forced. They can't be manipulated to fit your timeline. And so patience is coming in incredibly strongly around this third week. So try to, pack your patience, find, ways to sort of take your mind off it so that it doesn't, you don't become obsessed about it or whatever, or start to beat yourself up and feel like, well, it hasn't happened, so evidently it's not going to happen, and, I'm a failure, or whatever comes, whatever stories we like to tell ourselves. Just know that you have done everything you need to do, and you can continue to show up if this is your business or whatever. Obviously continue to show up, but take the pressure off. Understand that things are in the works that you don't necessarily need to know about, or that you don't have access to see at this time, and just find your patience, because I do feel like it's very supported, whatever this is, and you will see the fruits of the labor around this. You will see this come to fruition, but it's going to take a little bit of time. There's not necessarily instant gratification with this, but if it still speaks to your soul, it still feels like your truth, then, keep moving forward with it and just have the patience, understanding that it's coming. The fourth week of the month, this is interesting. This is where I'm kind of seeing some self-sabotage come in. And so there's something that you have been really sort of hyper-focused on. You're just in it. You're fully immersed in it. And I feel like it feels very emotional. It feels like there's some kind of emotional tie here. And it feels like you're very, very hyper-focused on whatever this is. Like it's not necessarily, there's something missing and you don't know what it is. There's something missing, and it's kind of like a puzzle. Like if you have a puzzle on the table and you haven't seen the picture before you started putting the puzzle together, and like the center is missing, it's kind of like you're so focused on this puzzle that you're missing the image, you're missing the bigger picture around whatever this is. And so there needs to be a shift in perspective. You need to pull yourself from the situation a little bit, again, flying squirrel, to get a different vantage point, to see the bigger picture, to take yourself out of it for a moment, take a break. There's something that's trying to be shown to you, but you're missing it because you're too hyper-focused on whatever this is. And I used this example in a previous reading, and I think it's really important to say, there's something here around you want to create something, you want to do something, you want to break free from something, but you are self-sabotaging yourself in saying yes to whatever that is because you feel like you need to have a safety net first. You feel like you need to have all your ducks in a row before you say yes to whatever this is so that you can feel safe and secure. And the thing is, I feel like with this, you're not meant to have the safety net. The trusting yourself and trusting the universe is the safety net. Knowing that following your truth and following that inner guidance to do whatever this is, that is your safety net. The material stuff, that's not real, right? It's like that can be taken away in an instant, whether we choose for it to be or not. And so kind of putting all of your eggs in that basket and fooling yourself to say, okay, I will say yes to my soul's calling when I get to this point in time. And I know that things will work out. That's the thing. We never know how things are going to fully, manifest or show up or happen, right? We're getting twists and turns all over the place throughout life, right? And so there is no such thing as a safety net. That is the ego talking. That's the ego saying we need to be safe. We need to be secure. Let's stay in this little space until we know for sure that it's safe to go out. But that's the thing. It's like if, your soul came here for expansion, for growth, for experiences, and you can't have experiences that are new and challenging and offer that growth if you stay in the same space, if you create that little safety net and just stick right to it because, well, it's known and it's comfortable and I'm too afraid to go out and see what else is out there type thing. And so I'm just getting this energy around like kind of missing out on the bigger things that your soul came here for because you're too afraid to step beyond that zone. You're too afraid to say yes to something that is calling to you, that speaks to you because of needing to control the situation to the point where you know how it's going to turn out. And again, we just never know. We can fool ourselves to say we know, But everything we do in life, every choice, every decision is a leap of faith. At some level, it is a leap of faith. No matter how much knowledge we have, how much wisdom we have, how much insight we have, none of that, no matter how strong our intuition is, there's always some level of unknown. And if we let that unknown keep us stuck, then we're going to miss some of the greatest opportunities and experiences of our lifetime. And so I feel like for you all at this time, this feels like very big energy, but it comes back down to your choice. It comes back down to you saying yes to whatever this is that could bring you a tremendous amount of joy and fulfillment. But you just have to face that sort of inner voice that's saying, we'll do it when, we'll say yes when, but there's no such thing as a safety net. We can create what feels safe for us. We can create what feels like a safety net, but that's just an illusion, right? That's not real. And so there's something that it's asking you to say yes to, even if it feels uncomfortable. I had a reading fairly recently, and the person said to me, and it wasn't easy to hear. She said, this is a lifetime where you chose to come, and have a life where you need to get really comfortable with the uncomfortable, and which is so true. I mean, this is so true. But we don't like that as humans. We don't like that. We like to feel comfortable. We like to feel safe. We like to feel secure. We don't like to take risks all the time, especially if we don't know how it's going to turn out. And I feel like you all are in a moment here where it's like you're being asked to take a risk, to take that leap of faith, be the flying squirrel, leap from that tree, just knowing you're going to make it to the other tree, even if something comes up, right? So, you got this. You just have to, if you're saying no to something that your soul is asking you to say yes to, you just need to take a closer look at why. What is holding you back? Why are you saying no to this? If it's because it comes back to that sort of self-sabotaging nature of, I need a safety net first, you need to dismantle that. You need to take a closer look and understand, is this really a safety net? You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to stay in this job until I make X amount of money and then I'll leave. I mean, there's great, it's fine to take precautions or whatever, or to be, do your research and that sort of thing. But, you're not meant to control every little detail. And so anyway, I see that coming in pretty strongly for you all this month. And it's going to come down to your own discernment and following your own truth and not letting sort of the ego take over to keep you in a space that's no longer for you, that you have outgrown. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.